Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get in the Game podcast. My name is Larry Sasso, episode 2, college, applying for student loans. Um, our discussion today will be about the whole notion of going to college. Is it worth it? Absolutely. We had a great meeting last month with the Hall of Famer quarterback Fran Tarkenton, my mentor and coach, and we talked about financial literacy. I thought that would be a good baseline because doesn't it make sense that if we're going to apply for college loans, that we should have some idea of how loans work? Is it worth it? Um, I've done studies for my dissertation, written a book, Get in the Game, in 2017, and it is a known fact that young adults that don't have the financial literacy that generations before it had. Financial products and matters are more complex now than ever before. In making a decision to go to college and where to go and what kind of money that we should invest in our education is a huge endeavor, a huge decision, and we shouldn't take it lightly. And I don't think young adults do. I've been around young adults for many years, coaching at a college level, teaching at a college level, and it really woke me up a little bit when I heard students talking near their graduation about the student loan balances, the loans that they've taken out. And I don't think they understood it because they seemed surprised when they discovered the amount of money that they owe. So, first off, I think that college education or education is the best investment that any one individual could make. I've been a financial advisor for 35 years. Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, these are great stocks. They're doing very well these days. But I really, really think that investing in our education, young adults' education, is definitely worth it. There are numerous articles in the Wall Street Journal, many financial publications about the debate, are college diplomas or college education worth it? I say yes. I say yes over and over. I've seen it firsthand. I believe in it. If it's not a college degree, maybe it's an occupation, a welder, an electrician, a plumber, anything like that. Educating ourselves, making ourselves better is definitely worth it. So let's talk about college and going to college. High school, junior year, maybe sophomore year, you start to explore these ideas. In my book, we did a comparison or we mentioned a marine biologist. So I think thinking backwards, meaning what do you want to do when you graduate? If you want to be a school teacher or a marine biologist, then going to a college that will set you up to earn the income to be able to pay back those loans. I think many times students are going to these colleges that frankly they can't afford to go to because they're big names. Maybe there's peer pressure, but going to a college that you know that when you graduate, you will get an occupation or into a career that you'll be able to pay that loan back. And I think the surprise comes to young adults when they graduate and find out that, for example, I'm making $90,000 a year and I have $150,000 in loans. It's going to take a long time to pay that back. And I've talked to young adults about these scenarios, and looking back, they tell me they wish they didn't do it. So I think financial literacy is important. Looking at the type of colleges you want to go to, the one that you can afford. Maybe perhaps these days going into, like I did, a community college. Community college right here in Massachusetts is free, you know. So perhaps you go there and you get your general education, gen eds, get some credits there, and carry that over to a college afterwards. I think there's nothing wrong with private colleges. I think it's great that individuals can afford to go to college and pay for private college, but will their occupation be able to pay that loan back later on? That is the question. That's the notion. So in my book, we discuss that, and I think it's important to understand financial matters because you're going to be applying for loans, the FAFSA application, college application, and really doing the math ahead of time to figure out what type of loans you'll have, the type of income that you expect to have when you graduate to pay back that loan? What can you do to maybe keep tuition down or save money in college? Perhaps dual enrollment. Junior year in high school, did you know that you could take college courses up to 9 credits in this area, or anyway, but different areas might be different. You can earn college credits while you're in high school. You need 120 college credits to graduate with an undergrad bachelor's degree. So if you can get 9 out of the way, roughly $900 a credit, I think you're doing pretty good. Internships, um, military service, enlisting in the military. I was talking to a friend last week. The military will pay for your college education, maybe not in full, but a very good amount. They'll pay for housing, they'll pay for books. So there's a lot of programs out there. Enlisting in the military certainly helped me, not as much financially as they would help today, but I think that's a great idea. So the different types of loans that are out there, I think the FAFSA loans, when they look at the expected family contribution, EFC is part of that FAFSA application. That will tell you what you are expected to pay out. I think students get into trouble when they take out loans much greater than they can afford, and that's what that formula will tell you roughly about what you can afford to pay, what type of maybe federal loans you'll get to help offset the cost of college. Your best asset going into college is your GPA, your grade point average. You know, there are very few Division I athletes out there, and I think a lot of young adults want to play sports in college. And if you're going to play a Division I sport, perhaps a full scholarship. Very few get that type of deal. A Division III, a Division II, you may get some financial support from your college. Division III, there are no athletic scholarships for Division III. The best way to save money on your education is to have a very strong grade point average going into college. So that's why it's imperative to have those good grades when you're applying for loans, because that's where the colleges will invest in you and you'll be able to save the most amount of money when you apply for those colleges. Financial matters are complex, as we discussed before. Colleges, tuitions continue to increase, right? So I think we need to be savvy, and I think it's up to the parents or whoever is helping young adults to make this very important, crucial decision where to go to college. I think young adults need our help more than ever. Maybe seek a financial advisor to get advice on that. Students just deciding to go to colleges without doing their research, both do they like the school, small school, big school, where they want to live geographically in the country or abroad. But I think financial should be at the top of the list, meaning what's the tuition going to cost? What type of financial aid, if any, that you'll get? Soon after graduation, when young adults graduate from college, within a few months, the college loan, they want to get paid back. So starting that career right away is imperative, because those bills are going to come. And what's happening in our country right now, I mentioned it in episode 1, young adults are behind on their payments, they're defaulting, they're not paying them back, and it's a huge problem. Young adults are in more financial debt today than they were in previous generations. Young adults do not have the financial competency level that that past generations have had in both situations. So we're not educating them. They're not able to pay back the loans, and it's a bad formula. Things are not going well. There are young adults who are excelling and doing great and going to colleges that they can afford and pay them back. So I think that financial advisors, mentors, high school guidance counselors need to be more involved, but I really think a financial advisor needs to be in that decision-making process to help families guide their young adults. Because guess what's going to happen when our young adults graduate? They're going to come back to mom, dad, or uncle, whoever helped, and said, why didn't you tell me? Or why did I go to this college? You knew I couldn't afford it. There have been situations that I discovered in my dissertation in Chicago where attorney generals have prosecuted colleges for allowing young adults to get into loans that they knew they could not afford, that they would not be able to pay back. So, college education, absolutely, yes, yes. I think a college education is worth it, if not for anything more to grow up, to learn how to live on their own, to network, to educate ourselves, right? A well rounded young adult, I think, is an asset to themselves forever. But a college education, perhaps an associate's degree, an undergrad bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a doctoral degree, whatever you think you want to accomplish. But I think it all starts with a budget. Where are we going to go? How are we going to pay for it? And I think if you don't have the answer, if you don't know how you're going to pay back that loan and figure it out in your budget going forward, and then actually coming backwards to today, the present value of your notion of going to college, if you don't have a plan to how you're going to pay back that loan 4 years, from now when you graduate, then I really think that might not be the right college for you. Having a plan, ways to save money, I talked about it earlier. Perhaps you take a dual enrollment class, one, two, or three during high school, an AP class in high school, enlist in the military, right? Ways to save money. Maybe you're a commuter student. I was always a commuter student um, for various reasons, but you could save money that way as well. Perhaps living off campus. Sometimes, housing is cheaper off campus, less money than it is on campus. Or again, you can start out with an associate's degree, get those credits there, and carry those over to your next college, your bachelor's degree. Everyone's journey through college isn't a simple one. 4 years at the same college, things don't work out. Students will transfer. I think that's very common, especially for first year college students. If you don't graduate in 1 year or 2 year, I just think we need to stay in the game, get in the game. I tell young adults it took me 4 years to graduate from a 2 year college. I had a lot of learning to do. I didn't have the structure and the discipline, but eventually I did. I thank the United States Marine Corps and my parents for that. So let's embrace the idea. Let's help our young adults make great decisions when it comes to educating themselves. But the student loans are not going away. They're complex, they're very difficult to understand. The FAFSA form, they say, is a little bit easier. The online application, the Common App. I think young adults are applying for many, many colleges, and thank God for the college application. But I think we need to be more involved in that decision more than ever before. Young adults in high school, they're very anxious about this subject, and it gets even more of a problem when they're in school and they start to understand the loans that they have. Um, it's really going to play a role on their experience at college. Having an idea or having a game plan, getting in the game early to figure out what kind of college degree you want, where you want to go, but knowing that you absolutely will have a career in that area to pay back that loan. I think it's essential that young adults, through their college advisor, have a plan with their career services that they expect to have that job literally the Monday after graduation. Second week of May, graduation. That first week, third week in May, you should have a career lined up. And that can be done through networking, LinkedIn, handshake, networking, going to meetings, getting involved. But I think it really is a team approach. I think young adults are just making these decisions too often on their own with not enough information. And let's face it, they're at a very young age, 16, 17 years old, applying for colleges, right? And 10 years down the road, they may look back and say, what did I do? And this is happening more and more throughout our country. And that's why I thought it would be important to discuss that in episode 2. One of our followers mentioned gamers. I love that. Thank you. Gamers. You are the gamers out there. And I really appreciate you watching us on Spotify and YouTube. I think we have over 325 views. Please keep it going. Please spread the word. Financial literacy should be at the top of the list of education in high school. I believe there are still about 5 states in our country that do not mandate a financial literacy class. And I'm not talking about accounting one or accounting two or managerial economics, personal finance, balancing our checkbook, credit cards versus debit cards, budgeting, monthly budgets, annual budgets, 5-year budgets, college budgets. So get in the game is here. Get in the game is going to continue going forward. I appreciate your following. I appreciate your feedback. You can text me at 508-344-9913 if you have some subject matter that you would like to discuss, or you can comment on our YouTube pages. But I really appreciate you getting in the game today. I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Have a great day and invest in your education. Larry Sasso.